When you got into Archangel on the 4th of September, did you stay there or did you?
Oh, no, we were ordered out to what they call the railroad front lines immediately the next day. See, and we, 3rd Battalion, companies, I and M were ordered out to Obozerskaya. Obozerskaya was still in the hands of the, well, they call the Bolos. We wouldn't call them the Bolos. As I recall, it was a partially destroyed railroad station at Obozerskaya. And we unloaded and we marched through the woods all night, across the rivers or streams. And when we stopped to rest in the night, of course you couldn't lay down, so I took my belt and wrapped it around a tree and around myself and slung the net for probably half-hour sleep. And then that was till about 5 o'clock in the morning that we got the order to advance. And we went forward for about, maybe 100 yards. We got the order to fall down. And there, as we laid there behind logs or stumps or whatever you get for barricade, we could see the Bolsheviks advancing behind pine trees, little pine trees that they had cut off, and was carrying these ahead of them. And that was my first engagement. I don't recall whether it was Obozerskaya or where, but I believe it was.
How did you feel about the planning of that night march? Did you think that it was adequately planned, or did it seem like things were working out the way that they were supposed to on that march?
On that march?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I guess the march was okay, and everything went okay. We had one of my buddies got lost during that time in the woods, being strange and swampy, and he got separated from the group, and he was lost for, I think, there's 3 days. And finally he come back, he wandered back. We couldn't find him, but he wandered back in the camp, and he had trench feet. These villages were usually built alongside of a freshwater creek. See, that's where the citizens, the people, got their drinking water. And but over the sky was alongside and fall maybe 1/4 mile from us creek, and over that creek was a railroad bridge. See, well, we had orders to take that railroad bridge and take her over to Skya. See, well, when we got there, they blew up the bridge.
Bolsheviks did?
The Bolos blew up the bridge. See. So it took us several days to rebuild the bridge, and of course, as soon as they blew up the bridge, they retreated, which they would always do, see, and they got out of the town. But before we could get into the town, we had to rebuild the bridge. The engineers and the Russians, they could recruit there, and the Russian men was all they were a bit forced to build bridges. They were big carpenters. You give them an axe and a saw, and they could go to work. They could do anything with an axe and a saw, see. But outside of that, they would do no work. The women did all the work, see. Like building airfields and things of that kind, and pulling stumps out of the airfields and leveling off the ground and all that sort of stuff. The women did all that work. They'd take a dozen women on the end of a big long chain and pull a stump out of the ground and all up to one side and so on, making airfields, And the men sit alongside the field smoking, watching the women work. So they wouldn't work. But they would do that. You'd take a dozen of them and give them an axe or a saw, and they could build a bridge and do a good job of it. So it took them several days to rebuild that bridge before we got into Obozerskaya. So
Well, when we got in to Obozerskaya, I never was so goddamn sick in all my life. And that's when the flu was going on. I had flu. So I was so sick that, you know where that old tank was, the water tank? I sit down, colder than hell, sit down and lean the back against that, and I thought I was going to die sure in hell. So two English medics came along and put me on a stretcher. You remember that little house they had way over in the woods there where they're taking the ones that had flu? Yeah. I got over there. There was a guy dead over here and one over there and one over there. And I was getting scared. I wanted to get the hell out of there. Sick. God damn, I was sick. So, you know where the station was there? It looked like a telephone booth.
that day.
And you could see there'd been so many bullet holes went through it, you could see all the way through it, see? And my company had gone from where they were at, they was gone on up further.
To 445.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Up in there.
And then after that, way Obozerskaya was our field headquarters, see. And from there we went on. 445, 455, and so on like that was our next objectives to take, you see. And to really tell you the truth, why about 455 was about as far as we got before winter set in. And after winter set in, well, then it's just a case of building block houses over on the sides and then digging trenches around the bridges and things of that kind. And so just, oh, solidify yourself, against any sudden attacks or anything of that kind. And there we sat for the winter. Then we had orders to go to Vologda. We never got there.
Yeah.
We got about halfway.